Hi YouTube. It's January the 23rd, and this is the first video I've actually done on my computer in a while, so not from my phone, because I finally have some Wi-Fi in my apartment that I can upload this with. I'm going to try to keep this a little short, and I'm going to not cut it tonight, not edit it or anything, because I have plans later. I'm going over to a friend's house to watch a movie, so hopefully that'll be fun. Anyway, I have had such a strange week. I mean, I think I've lost all my brain cells or something. Like, there's something going on that's not quite right. I mean, for example, last night I went to Pathfinder after, and we didn't actually do Pathfinder. We watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, the anime series, instead. And I was sitting there, and I kept like saying things, and they would all laugh at me, and I don't even know what I was saying half the time. But they kept saying like, "Oh, you're just like Sokka. You're so simple." I'm like, okay, that's cool, I guess. So I didn't really know what was going on. I haven't watched that show in a long time. I've never watched a lot of it either. But apparently I'm just like Sokka, so that's not fun, I guess. Another thing too is like, they were there, and there was this part, and this is about when I had to leave. There was this part where there were like animals, that were two animals combined. First one was a sheep and a pig, and I'm just there staring at the screen. I'm like, what is that? What is it's a shig. Hey Liz, that's a shig. A sheep and a pig is a shig because it can't be a peep, because a peep is a baby chicken, right? And she just looks at me, she pats me on the head, she's like, "You're right, Sam. Yeah, that's totally right." And very shortly after, I'm going to say about a minute after, the people were in this town with all the animal stuff, and there was a guy riding a moose pig, right? And Quick goes, "Hey, look, guys, it's a pig moose." And you can just see like the wheels turning in my brain. I'm just trying so hard to figure out what that is. I'm like, it's a pig moose is a poos. It's a poos. And I started laughing so hard at my own stupid joke. Everyone else started laughing at me. And I laughed so hard. Liz is like, "Are you okay, Sam?" No, I'm not okay. I had to get up. I put on my jacket, and I started to cry from all the laughing I was doing. That I left. I just left, and I came home, and I went to bed, and I fell asleep. Like, this has been my entire week. I had a class today, programming, in which we had a lab to do, and when I was doing the lab, I read the directions. I swear to God I did, and I followed the directions, and I wrote the code, like I hand wrote the code, I hand wrote the steps it would take, and I put the code into my thing, and I passed it into the teacher, like the sheet I printed off from the computer and the sheet I wrote down, and she goes, "This isn't right on the sheet." I'm like, "But I wrote that down." So I messed up the code that I typed. For some reason, even though I had a handwritten in front of me. And I'm like, okay, so I fixed that. And I pass it back into her again. And she's like, she comes back up to me. She's like, "Sam, this isn't right. Your message isn't right." I'm like, "What do you mean my message isn't right?" She's like, "It's in the instructions. You gotta put this as your message." So I messed that up, and I lost 2 points out of 10 on that lab because I don't know what's been wrong with me all week. It's just I can't function properly or something. But yeah, so that's what I've been like all week. I've just been completely stupid and just silly, and it's just been a strange week. Now today had a fun day. Still a silly day, of course. After the programming class and the whole like me just messing up everything 2 or 3 times. I think I'm gonna say it was 3 times because there's something else I messed up and she had to fix it for, and she had to tell me to fix it. But after programming, we got out early. We got out an hour early, and they were supposed to have technical report writing and then a 2-hour break. Now, there's nothing wrong with technical report writing, but I just kind of said, fuck it. Like, I don't really want to go to that. So I didn't go to that, and me and Nathan and Todd went back to Todd's place because Franklin got back with some Cuban, like from Cuba, and he brought us cigars. So we got back to Todd's place. We smoked a cigar. That was lovely, you know, no complaints about that. And after we smoked the cigar, we just hung out for a bit. And Donald and Anthony showed up, and I had to run to Walmart to like get a prescription filled. So I did that, and I came back, and I made nachos for the guys, and all the guys were just like so in love with me. And after I got the nachos like set, ready, and put into the oven, just cooking, and he's like, Sam, come here. So I go over. I'm like, what is it? Give me a hug. And I give him the hug, and he's like, don't drop out. Never ever drop out. I'm like, why would you say that? Why do you think I'm gonna drop out? He's like, just don't want you to. You're so wonderful. You make us food. So, that happened. And then after, we went back to school, and of course, I'm going to go back to school for my hardware class, because that's an important class, you know, and we had a lab to do. So I partnered up, me and Jane are partners now for the labs for the rest of the year, and we have to do 20 in total. We got 2 done a day, which isn't too bad. They're really simple, fast labs. I think Linda almost killed me today, though, because we were doing, like I said, all week, we were doing the lab. I was following instructions, and our lab, the first one that we chose, I figured, like, let's do this easy one first, and let's see what we can do after that. But it's like, hook up a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse to a computer. So we did that. We took the thing, we hooked it up, we installed the program that we needed to install, made sure everything was running fine. I fixed the temperature on the keyboard, because that's another thing that we had to do in the lab. So everything was done. And one of the instructions is like, take out the USB ports. And I'm like, for the keyboard and mouse. I'm like, okay. So I unplugged the USB, like the little Bluetooth USB thing, and I'm using the regular mouse because it's already hooked up into the computer. And I get my teacher, Albert, to come over and like check our work, just make sure the lab was done right. He was asking us questions. And halfway through whatever, like the questions he was asking us, Linda comes over, she's like, is everything okay there? I'm like, yes. Why? Like, what do you ask? She's like, why are you using that old mouse? I'm like, because. She's like, does the like Bluetooth thing not work? Did your lab not work for you? I'm like, no, everything totally worked. This one isn't connected right now. She's like, why is that not connected? I'm like, well, it's part of the instructions to disconnect the USB. And she's just like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, yeah, it was in the instructions. And she's like, and Albert's there with a piece of paper up to his mouth, just like trying not to laugh at this whole situation right now. And I grab the instructions, and I take them out. I'm like, no, it's totally here. Disconnect the USB port for the mouse and the keyboard. So I took the USB port out, now I'm using this mouse. And Linda's like, that's not what that means. I'm like, but it says right there, disconnect the USB. And she's like, no, I mean, the instructions say disconnect the USB for the mouse and the keyboard that's in the computer right now. Oh, I didn't read it like that. And Jane, my partner, stood there laughing too. She's like, I didn't read it either. Like, I thought I thought Sam did it right. And I'm just laughing now. And Linda's like, oh my. I'm just trying not to laugh at this whole situation, but I keep laughing. I'm like, I'm sorry, Linda. Like, this has been my week. I read those instructions. Like, this is what I read, and I got it done right. I disconnected it. Everything works. See? And I took the USB port, plugged it back in. I'm like, type. Everything's fine. And she just laughed at me. And Albert's there trying not to, like, die of laughter. I like him as a teacher. He's actually pretty hilarious. When our class gets on with foolish stuff like that, he's always just there. You know, trying to be mature and trying to be the whole teacher role model figure thing, but he can't help but laugh at us because we can be really stupid sometimes. And so that was actually fun. After that, we got a second lab dealing with like an iMac or something. I think it was an iMac. It's like this fucked up computer with all the computer into the monitor, and Linda's like, alright, you can do this lab, now you gotta hook this up and share a file. I'm like, cool. So she puts the computer on the floor, and I'm like, alright, I got this, and I go to lift the computer, and I bend down, I go like, and I'm like, holy fuck, this thing is heavy. So I lift it up, and I managed to like wobble back to the desk with it, and I got pictures of myself on Facebook with the computer because it's amazing. It's a beautiful computer. It's just so old and stupid. Like, it was just a stupid laptop to do, but I got it done after. No issues with that one. Linda checked over the work after and had all the questions ready and answered, and all the steps were followed properly. The only thing is that in the steps, it didn't specify to use an Ethernet cable. So me and Jane at first were just like, type. Why is this file not sharing? And I'm like, we probably need an Ethernet cable. And I go out and I'm like, Linda, do you have any more Ethernet cable? She's like, oh, just use the one on your computer. So I did that, I hooked up, and everything was fine after that. So that was like a derpy moment, but I have, like I said, been having a completely derpy week. So I mean, what can you do about that? It happens sometimes, I guess. But I mean, a full week of just me being retarded is not so cool. Anyway, I really didn't keep this video short. It's probably the longest video I have on YouTube now, so I'm gonna cut it here, and like I said, not gonna edit it. Lots of stories for you today, lots of me being completely dumb. You know, you'll get those often, I'm sure. Like, I have a lot of derpy moments. But yeah, I'm gonna go cut this, and I will talk to you tomorrow.